What is up, Scentsy fans? It's Patricia, and today is Tester Tuesday, a spot where I get Scentsy reviews out to you based on your votes from the previous week. So this week we have 3 LTOs, which stands for limited time offer. We have 1 from the Gordy Goodness collection and 2 from the Harvest collection to discuss. So let's get started. All right, let's talk about our first place scent for the week. It is Berry Apple Shortbread. This one had 25% of the vote. It's this cream colored wax, almost the same color as Blueberry Cheesecake. It is a Harvest collection scent. I would put this in the bakery section, and on Cold Sniff it's about a medium intensity. So let's read the scent description. Scentsy says, fresh baked berry, perfectly complements comforting vanilla, blended with lemon and a pinch of clove. Okay, let's start with what I don't get and the things that I do get. I don't get clove, but I definitely get a bakery and mostly a citrus. Now there is an underlying fruit to that. So I would say we have a shortbread cookie, and it's kind of one of those Linzer cutout style cookies, which basically is a regular shaped shortbread. Sometimes you see those scalloped edges. And then you take another shortbread cookie and you cut out the inside. You bake them, you take the full size, you put a little bit of jam, you cover it with the other cookie. Now, in this particular situation, the jam is actually a mixture of apple jelly and almost like a plum blackberry mixture, because it's kind of a gentle jammy. It's not a heavy aggressive jam, but I feel like sometimes you get a little bit of an apple tone. And they actually don't mention apple in the scent description, but it's mentioned in the name. All right, so then you put your little, cutout shortbread cookie on the top, and the jam kind of helps glue it together. But on that particular cutout cookie, you actually maybe dipped it in a little bit of a lemon infused icing sugar glaze, and that hardens, because you definitely get a lemon influence, a sweet lemon influence with the shortbread cookie, and a little bit of a jammy influence. I would say the lemon is about a third, the shortbread is about a third, and then the jammy apple plum blackberry part is about a third. My main issue with this is I kind of wish it was a little bit stronger, but it does have a Fruit Loop tendency. So imagine you're sitting at your breakfast table and someone's eating Fruit Loops and the other person's being bad and eating shortbread cookies. That's mainly what it smells like. And then you get a tiny bit of fruit in the background. So it reminds me a little bit of Cutie Pie Cupcake, but obviously a cookie and a modified fruit version of that. There's another scent that it reminds me of, and I don't know the name. It's a Better Homes and Garden scent, and I believe there was a shortbread cookie and there was like pictures of pumpkin. Now this doesn't smell at all like pumpkin, but it brings me back to that particular scent, and I'm sorry I don't know the name. So let's talk about performance, because that way you can decide where you're going to warm this. So I took my other one and I warmed the whole wax bar. Now I always like to warm it in 2 spots, and ideally on 2 different days, and that's what I did. But in doing that, I didn't have a lot of choice about where I was going to warm it, so I ended up warming it first in the bathroom. Trust me, this is not a bathroom scent, and I don't suggest you warm it there, but I had no other spot. So I put 2 cubes in a 25-watt ceramic bulb warmer, and I would say strength and throw was probably between 5 and 6. Sometimes I felt like it was a 7, and sometimes I felt it was a 4. So I'm averaging it out to be a 5 or a 6. I don't know why that bathroom, sometimes I can't smell certain scents in there, and other times it works really well. But I left it going a day. After a day, I felt like I couldn't really smell it anymore. It was very, very light. Now I had 6 cubes left, and I know I definitely wanted to try this in my open layout, and I thought, well, maybe trying it with more warmers is going to be better. And I would say in a way it was better, because I would say it was a good solid 6 out of 10. It wasn't as strong as I wanted it, but I could still smell it. And it was one of those ones that when I left the room and came back in, I could really smell it a lot better. So I think I did tend to go nose blind to this, but I left it going for a day. Now, I think if you're going to pick this one up, I would say stick to whatever area you want to warm it, but be prepared to maybe stagger start your warming or use extra cubes, because you might want it a little bit stronger than what you're going to get. I would say some people would say this is a fall bakery or a winter bakery. I would say it's a year-round bakery. I would melt it year-round. I think cure time might benefit this one, just where it does have that shortbread vanilla tendency. And let's talk about my family rating, because I did my family rating again this week. So for Apple Berry Shortbread, it got an 8.5 out of 10, a 6 out of 10, and a 7.5 out of 10. And I would probably say I would give it about an 8 out of 10 myself in terms of scent appeal. Performance was maybe a little bit below that, but would I be repurchasing this one? I might put one in my club and just put it aside. I did really enjoy it. I would kind of like to see it in the catalog, but that's just me being selfish. That is Berry Apple Shortbread. All right, let's talk about scent number 2 for the week. It is Pumpkin Sticky Bun. This one had 20% of the vote. I would put this in the bakery category. This is the color of the wax. It's almost a light orange, and it's in the Gordy Goodness collection, which is a limited time offer scent. And on cold sniff, it was about a medium intensity. So let's read the scent description. Scentsy says, savor a bite of rich pumpkin and pecan drizzled with coconut cream. Perfect description. I would say it's like a pumpkin bakery with no spice. It reminds me of a pumpkin cinnamon bun that you did not put cinnamon in. And for the glaze, instead of using milk, you used a little bit of coconut cream because you can get a tiny bit of coconut cream. It's not as strong on warm as it is on cold, but this is just a nice, somewhat sweet, somewhat of a medium tone, maybe a little bit lighter bakery. I enjoyed this. The pumpkin was nice. I'm not huge into pumpkin, but I did enjoy this so much more on warm than I did on cold. The nuts are done really well in here, which makes me happy. So let's talk about performance. I warmed it in the open area. I warmed 6 cubes and I left it going a full day, but it didn't really last a full day. So in the open layout, I would say it was about 7 out of 10 for maybe 4 to 6 hours, and then it started to drop off. I did put the other 2 cubes here in my bedroom, just in my bedroom portion, not in the bathroom. I put a separate wax in there and I closed the door. But here in the bedroom, it was between 6 and 7 out of 10, and I left it going a day. It did seem to do a little bit better in here in terms of longevity because the area is enclosed. So I think if you're someone that likes bakery but you wish it didn't have spice, then this might be a good one to pick up for you. It does smell better on warm than on cold, in my opinion. There was a waxy tone that kind of left, which was nice. I would say this is a fall scent to me, and medium to small spaces would work best for this. Let's talk about the family rating since I have it here. I got a 7 out of 10 with the comment of it's okay. I got a 5 out of 10 with this motion. And I also got another 5 out of 10. So my family didn't like this as much as maybe I did. On cold sniff, I would say this was probably about a 6 out of 10 for me, and maybe it went up to about a 7 to 8 out of 10 once warmed. Will I be repurchasing this one? My club processed just the other day, and I decided to throw one in at the last minute so I could get an extra bar. What I will do is I put it aside maybe until next fall and warm it then. I'm in no rush because I have a lot of wax, but I thought it'd be nice to have another one. So that is Pumpkin Sticky Bun. And as a side note, the Gordy Goodness collection has gone to back order, which means it's sold out, but they are taking orders and filling them at a future date. All right, let's talk about our third place scent for the week. It is Apple Spice Season. This one had 17% of the vote. It's this red colored wax. On cold sniff intensity, it's between medium and medium plus. And I would put this in the spice section or possibly spice fruity. So it is an LTO, part of the harvest. So let's read the scent description. Scentsy says, baskets of juicy apple and harvest pumpkin stay ripe all season long with a touch of sparkling spices. So I would say I get mostly apple and mostly spice. Now the apple smells like an apple, plus it smells like apple juice because this has a tangy component to it. The spices are at least a medium, if not a little bit more than that for red hotness. So a bit heavy level and a bit spicy, but it does have a little bit of a shimmery, sparkly tone to it as well. Now they talk about pumpkin. That's the one thing I don't get much of. I don't get much pumpkin. So when smelling this and thinking about it, it reminds me of cider mill, but in a different way. It is not the same as cider mill, so let's compare and contrast. Cider mill has more pumpkin, this has less pumpkin. Cider mill has less spice, this has more spice. And cider mill, I would say, is a sweeter, more concentrated apple because it's a cider, and this smells like an apple plus an apple juice because it's a little bit more, I wouldn't say tart, but it's definitely tangy. I think that this would be a great alternative to an apple cinnamon sticks type scent. Not that it smells like our apple and cinnamon sticks scent, but this is a traditional apple cinnamon scent. It's not overly unique. but it's one that the general public would gravitate towards, especially if you're someone that likes cinnamon. So let's talk about performance. I decided to warm this in the boys' room and Erica's room, and this would be a good time to bring up the family rating because they actually gave this pretty good scores. So I got a 7 out of 10. That was from my husband. Erica gave it an 8 out of 10. She said, I really like that one. And Ryan said 8 out of 10. So I thought this one did fairly well with the family, and I would say it was about a 7 out of 10 for me. So in the boys' room, at maximum, it was between 8 and 8.5 out of 10 for its strength. And so far we are on day 4 of this one. In Erica's room, it did about the same, 8 to 8.5 out of 10. Both spots I've just discussed, I used 3 cubes between 2 warmers. Each of their rooms has a full size and a mini. And on Erica's room, we are into day 3. So I would say this was a good performer. I was pleased with it. It was the best performing scent out of all 3 scents this week. I think that you could probably warm this in an open layout. It just probably wouldn't last as long. The other thing I would say is it does read quite traditional fall, and I think if you're someone that likes something like a cider mill or even I think it's called orchard apple spice or something like that, or apple and cinnamon, those type of scents, you would like this one. Will I be repurchasing this one? I'm trying to be good, so I'm going to say I don't need any more, but if it were to come back in a future catalog, which it definitely stands a chance of doing so, I would probably pick one up here and there. So I liked it, it's just not an absolute love. It's apple spice season. All right, let's move to the portion of the video where I'm going to draw some scents and you guys are going to vote. If you're new to my channel, you're going to pick 2 different scents. By early Wednesday morning, you're going to put them down in the YouTube comment section. If you can't vote on YouTube, find my Instagram post. It's Patricia Gates, and put your 2 votes there. So I just decided to put the new releases and the Lord of the Rings bar in here. And once we've gone through those, I'll put back the other Harvest Collection items that didn't make it into the vote. I will say last week's vote was very close, so I appreciate anyone that voted. It was nice to see scents battling it out and who was going to come out on top. That sounds kind of dirty, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle these around. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to shuffle them around so you don't have to listen to that. And then I'm going to close my eyes and we're going to pick out 6 scents. Just 1 second. All right, I've shuffled them all around and we are going to do 6 scents. So scent number 1, without me looking, is Hay Rides. Scent number 2, Brown Butter Pumpkin. Scent number 3, Leaves and Lavender. Sorry, it's probably noisy because of the microphone. Scent number 4, White Peach and Cranberry. Scent number 5, Alpine Escape. And scent number 6, Vanilla Amber. So, thanks for spending the last few minutes with me. I hope you have a great day in your neck of the woods. If you liked the video, hit the like button. I apologize about my appearance. It's a late day filming again. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next video.